Of the Comcast Cable Game of the Week, the Davison Cardinals try to shake a very uncharacteristic 1-3 start when they take
Presented by the undisputed, undefeated King of Cable, Comcast. Welcome to another edition of the Game of the Week on Channel 17. C.K. Richards Field is the site on the campus of Kearsley High School for boys high school football. It's a Big Nine conference matchup between the Davison Cardinals and the Kearsley Hornets. Along with Tom Skinner, this is Pat Daly. Happy to have you aboard. And Tom, this is one of the bigger rivalries in Genesee County. You can throw in all the cliches, crunch all the numbers you want, look at all the comparison of schedules. But these two teams, when they hook up, they're going to play a tough football game.
Well, Pat, cliches are cliches for a reason sometimes, and certainly this one fits. So you throw the records out because these two teams are neighborhood rivalries, little kissing cousins right next door, but the only kissing out there tonight will be with shoulder pads and helmets, and it's going to be a good football game. It's going to be a defensive football game, I think, because of the weather. You won't see, I think, the amount of offense that you might have expected. Both these two teams pretty good when it comes to offense in the Big Nine Conference. They're among the top 5 in the Big Nine Conference, and so I think that you'll have maybe a little more of a defensive angle to this game. Both teams are in the top 5 defensively. Kearsley's allowed just 10.3 points per game. Davison a little over 12. Davison is 5th in the Big Nine. Kearsley is 3rd. Davison is number 2 in the league in offense, and Kearsley number 4. So they are as evenly matched as you can get, and it's going to be a good football game. We've had some good ones through the years with these two schools, and I don't expect anything different tonight.
The only thing that separates these two clubs where they're not even is in the record category. Davison enters this ball game with a 1-3 record. Not the usual start that Dick Delage is used to having. Kearsley, on the other hand, is 3-1, and they are in a 3-way tie for second place. They're coached by Jack Pratt. Now, last week, Davison was upset by Clio 22-21, and Tom, they had a 21-0 lead.
Now that hurts defensively. You just can't give up those kind of points, and Davison certainly hasn't done it this year to speak of, and that I think really hurt. That maybe that stung more than anything, not just the loss, but the way they did it. And Pat, there are our officials, Pat McKinnon and his gang out there, Steve Johnson, the umpire, Pat working as a referee, Dick Batstone's the head linesman, Brian Hall's the back judge, and Artel Horton is our field judge. But both these teams come in usually in week 5, not only with a lot on the line for the conference, but also for the state playoff picture. But right now, Davison is looking to take it one game at a time, as we talked cliches earlier. Mm-hmm. We will probably do it a lot tonight, and they can't look anything beyond tonight's game. They've got to win tonight. In fact, they've got to close with 5 straight wins to have any shot at a Class A Region 1 playoff. And Kearsley right now is in the number 6 spot in Class A Region 1. They're behind 3 Flint area teams. Midland is tied for first with Lake Orion. Waterford Kettering is 3rd, and then it's Lapeer West in the 4th spot, Midland Dow in the 5th spot, Kearsley in the 6th spot, and Flushing from the Big Nine in the 8th spot. So Kearsley, with a win, can continue to look towards conference title aspirations and a playoff bid. Davison right now can't afford that luxury. They are looking at it one single game at a time, literally, in fact, a play at a time, if you will, and we'll see how it plays out.
Kearsley has won 2 straight, beating Owasso 2 weeks ago, 24-0, then an emotional win last week at Grand Blanc, 20-13. We're all set now for the kickoff. Davison in their visiting whites with the gold pants and maroon stripes. Kearsley in their home blue tops with the gold pants. Philo and Huffman are back deep to receive the kick from Kearsley, and it'll go end over end, out of bounds, a penalty, and Davison will take it from their own 35-yard line to begin the football game.
Yeah, good field position and damp conditions. The 35 is an excellent place to start. You don't have to worry about getting popped by anybody, and I'd be surprised if the Cardinals didn't take the good field position and go from there.
Davison offense, they're led by the quarterback, Brandon Bell.
We'll take a look at the offense, Pat, in just a second. Right now, Pat McKenna's talking it over, and they are going to take the spot. Thought for a second that they were going to maybe roll the dice a little bit, but they're going to go with the football on the 35, the procedure call going against Kearsley. Time now for the Davison offense.
Mitch Hoffman is one to watch for Davison, a spectacular fullback. He's third in the conference in scoring. He has 5 touchdowns, 50 carries, 393 yards. He's the workhorse for this club. Out of the wishbone they work. 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line.
And they'll go to the fullback.
And they will to Huffman, and he doesn't get much at all as the the Kearsley defense was ready and waiting for him. Tim Ryan, the defensive end, was on the stop.
Jeb Laux, number 77, with great penetration also, Patrick. He forced the ball carrier to adjust his route. In fact, really he had to stop in the hole and then go around the penetration, and that allowed for pursuit to wipe it out with a short gain at most.
No gain, 2nd and 10. Look at the Davison offense on our next play. Again, it's Hoffman. Not much, maybe a yard, and again, Tim Ryan there leading the Hornet defense.
Well, good penetration again. Good penetration again. But that time, just a real good leg drive to pick up a couple yards, the couple yards that he did get. There you see the rain, folks. I know that there have been times when our picture has not been the greatest. Here's your Davison offensive line. Horton, White, McCarty, Noblet, and Thomas across the front. That is rain in the background. As you see that offensive line, we'll take a look at the backfield if the Cardinals get a first down here.
2-yard pickup for Huffman. 3rd and 8 from the 37. The quarterback will keep it himself, Brandon Bell, and not much there is number 5 for Kearsley. Ralph Zagari, 5'9", 195 nose guard, a junior. Wrapped him up and brought him down, and that'll bring out the punting unit for the Cardinals.
Well, a good job by Zagari. He's coming from the right defensive tackle spot. He moved down the line very well. As you see the Cardinals go off the field, and that was just good penetration. The Cardinals ran it to the short side of the field. They thought they had a numbers advantage, but so far there's been no advantage at all. It's been all Kearsley on the defense.
Doug Kinnish standing at his own 32, waiting for the Davison punt.
Good punt, too.
A flutterer. And it takes a Kearsley bounce as it bounces up over the 40 to about the 42. No return. And Kearsley will have pretty decent field position on their first offensive series.
We'll get a look at the Kearsley offense in just a second, Pat. That's a pretty good kick if it hits and bounces the other way, but it got a Kearsley bounce, so a tough break for the Cardinals as the driving kick in this driving rain just hit and did a little bit of reverse spin on that. So the Hornets with good field position, they'll start it from their 36-yard line. In fact, they're going to start it from the 39. Here's we need the Kearsley offense. That's the Kearsley defense. We'll get a look at that Kearsley offense here in just a little bit.
Kevin Ayer, number 28, is the quarterback. 1st and 10 for Kearsley from their own 41-yard line. Anthony Wilson, the tailback, the one to watch. Ayer fakes to him, throws. Has a man incomplete. Stepping out of bounds is Doug Kinnish.
Kinnish, a senior receiver. And, Pat, this is one thing. A football team that can throw the ball well has an advantage in the rain because the defensive backs are backpedaling and they don't know where the football is going to go or the receiver's going to go. There is a slight advantage to the offense. Now here's your Kearsley offense, Patrick. First of all, with the quarterback, Kevin Ayer. Toby Mitchell's a good fullback. He's a junior. Anthony Wilson has been very tough at the tailback spot for Jack Pratt's club. Scott Barker, John Bellant, and then Doug Kinnish. And we've already seen the work of Kinnish as they complete the 9-yarder to him. We'll get a look at that offensive line, which is the page just in front of that, guys. After our next play here.
It was 9 yards, Ayer to Kinnish, and the ball is at the midfield stripe and being covered by a towel. as that rain is coming down rather hard. Here's your offensive line. It's Temple, Harrington, Sotheby, Coughlin, and Schloud, the big fellas for the Hornet offensive line.
Pat, this offense for Kearsley, in fact, both sides of the football, they're pretty healthy. So we got a player down on the other side. That's the reason for the break here is the Davison player. He's up in an upright position, a sitting position, and they're going to help him to his feet right now. Good to see he's going to be okay. But this Kearsley team, last year at this juncture of the season, was like a mash unit. They had a lot of injuries. In fact, in talking to the Kearsley coaches, as many injuries, I think, as they'd ever had in recent memory in one season. And this year there are bumps and bruises, but nothing like last year. They seem to be healthy. Last year some of the players were kidding each other about glowing because of all the x-rays they had by this time. Everybody's in pretty good shape this year.
Air will keep it himself, taking it into Cardinal territory. Looks plenty for the first, but we'll wait and see on the spot.
Now the spot is going to come from the official on the opposite side of the field, and I think that he's got a
I don't know. That's not very favorable for the Hornets there.
Well, the initial indication, I couldn't see where his feet were, but where his upper body was, it looked like it was going to be plenty enough. But now it's going to be close. It might be the nose of the football is going to get him the first down, but if they do get it, it's not going to be by much more than that.
No, it doesn't look like he has it.
A few inches yet. So the Cardinal defense playing tough there. We'll get a look at that Cardinal defense, Davison defense, in just a second as you see Pat McKenna set the ball on the right hash mark.
So it'll be third down and call it about a football's length for the Hornets. And the ball is at the Cardinal 49-yard line.
And
Air runs into his own man. He'll keep it himself, kicking it outside. He'll have the first down. Kearsley caught a break offensively because Air and Wilson bumped right into one another.
Well, Pat, for those for the unenlightened, it looks like it was a broken play, but that's the old turn the wrong way and bump into your halfback and get the defense to over pursue on two play. You're right, though. That was a big break for the Hornets as they bump in the backfield, but good job by the quarterback, Air. He comes from a football and athletic family, so he's got a lot of smarts between the ear holes of that helmet. He's going to be tough mentally and physically tonight.
He gains close to 10. It's first and 10, and then the run, first man through, number 1, Toby Mitchell. Mitchell gets it inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line, gain of a couple.
Pat, Toby Mitchell is just one of those kind of kids that's a hard-nosed kid. He's their fullback on offense, and then on defense, he is a defensive end. So he has a very tough mindset, and he'll get you some good yards inside. That time, he got him almost 3 on first down. And that's really key. Kearsley needs to be able to get some yards out of their fullback in order for Davison to respect that handoff.
Again, they work to Mitchell inside the 35, down to about the 34-yard line, so close to a 4-yard pickup for Toby, the workhorse fullback. 3 touchdowns thus far in the early portion of the season for the runner Mitchell.
2 weeks ago, I think it was, Wilson went 30 carries for Kearsley. Not Mitchell, but Anthony Wilson. Toby Mitchell, with his work at fullback, can really set things up for Wilson as a tailback because if the defense has to respect the dive, you get them, the linebackers, committing at least a step or 3/4 of a step, and then that makes it difficult for them to get to the outside if it's a fake and a pitch to Wilson.
Air fumbles it, picks it up, throws, and incomplete, I believe. Well, the official is saying it was caught and then fumbled, so Davison will take over.
Well, that's a break for the Cardinals. The official initially signaled incomplete, but before he finished his arm motion, he reconsidered, it looked like, and they're going to call that a fumble. And if that was a play there, that's just a good hit by the Davison player, but that was a play. We talked about the headiness of Air at quarterback. He didn't get flustered after the ball was bobbled with the snap. He coolly picked it up, turned and found a receiver and hit him with a pass that was going to be close to first down yardage. And that's just a good play by Air and then a good play defensively by the Cardinals.
Davison takes over, first and 10 from their 32.
right now, Patrick, Davison is really having a tough time with the slants of Kearsley along that defensive line. Kearsley is beating Davison to the hole, and I'm not really sure what kind of adjustments they'll make, but right now that's where Kearsley is showing an advantage here early with the slants of the defensive linemen, and that's freeing things up for the linebackers.
Mitch Huffman picks up 3, 2nd and 7 from the Davison 35-yard line. Out of the wishbone they work, wide out to the left of Bell. And this time the ball carrier is Bill Gettings. And Gettings is wrapped up by a pair of Kearsley Hornets and sent back. Got it back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's about it for Bill Gettings.
Patrick, the defensive line for Kearsley, they move their defensive ends to the near side, to the end that was split out just a little bit. The tight end was maybe 4 or 5 yards out further than where he normally would be. A lot of times the defensive end will get in there in no man's land, and he'll line up between the end and the offensive tackle. But this time he stayed outside, and the linebacker did a good job of stepping up and filling what was a pretty good hole there. There's a really good look right down the line of scrimmage.
Gettings loses a yard. Bell throws and overthrows the tight end, intended for number 84, Matt Greenway, the junior. And he was open, Tom, but Bell just overthrew it.
He's a big target, too, Patrick. He looks like he's about 6'4". He's a two-way performer also. We talked about Toby Mitchell at fullback and defensive end. Greenway, a junior, just like Mitchell, also is a two-way player. He'll play the tight end spot, and then defensively, he'll play defensive end for the Cardinals.
Kinnish standing at his own 38-yard line. This time it's a high but very short punt. And no return once again for the Hornets as the ball rolls to the Hornet 43-yard line.
Not a big punt, maybe 28 yards or so, 30 at most. But that time it got the favorable bounce, though, for the Cardinals, and the Hornets wisely just got out of the way with it. As wet as it is, and that ball was kind of a knuckleball. You're just begging for trouble if you try to catch that one, and the Hornets did a good job in getting away from it. Both teams, Patrick, have had good field position with each of their 2 possessions so far tonight, but in the first 2 chances for Davison, they've not been able to do anything, and Kearsley had a modest, successfully drive thwarted with the fumble recovery.
1st and 10 for the Hornets. They pitch it out to Wilson. A lot of room to work with down the sideline, and he nearly broke away from the pack, taking it into Cardinal territory, inside the 40, down to the 39.
Well, in a 5-man front, generally the ends are going to have crash responsibility, and to the wide side, and or in this case it was to the wide side. And that time it looked like the defensive end got in no man's land. He didn't come down hard. He got in there between the fullback and the quarterback, and then the pitch back, and he really couldn't do a whole lot there. Kearsley did a good job in optioning off him.
Spotted at the 38, 19-yard run by Anthony Wilson. 1st and 10. As it was given to the fullback, I believe Toby Mitchell, and Mitchell gets it inside the 35 down to the 33-yard line, so a 5-yard pickup by the fullback.
Good job by Mitchell. Anytime you can get 4 yards or more on 1st down, it just sets so much up. You know, they went with the toss on the opening play to Wilson of this drive, and he picked up big yardage. They come back to the fullback. He gives them good yardage inside. Right now, the Davison defense is frustrated because they really don't know where the Hornets are going to go. Second man through there, Patrick, and they run behind the motion man, so they have the fullback over there and the motion man to help kick out on that side. And he got up near 1st down yardage. He can be short by a couple yards, but he got some pretty good yardage there.
That was Kinnish. So it'll be about 1.5 yards short of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd and call it a short 2, ball at the Cardinal 29.
We've seen the Hornets throw the football twice now. We've seen him go to the option to the tailback only one time, really. Let's see if they go to him here to try to utilize his speed. Up to go fullback, right up the middle.
That's Mitchell. Mitchell going to be very close to a 1st. Underneath the pile for the Cardinals, 23. That's Ian DeMent.
He's one of the linebackers, in fact, he plays in the middle for the Cardinals. There you see him. He's looks like he's calling the defensive signals also for Dick DeLodge's club. There you see couple of folks from the Flint area.
3 yards for Mitchell on that run. 1st and 10 for Kearsley at the Cardinal 26.
We'll get a look at the Comcast plug there in just a second. There's a
Air to throw, completes to Kinnish.
On Kinnish with a nice catch. He knew he was going to get popped out there. Davison's got one guy out here there who I really like a lot, who puts the shoulder pads on people, and that's Elizondo, number 37, Jeff Elizondo, and he really does a good job. That time, Kinnish was able to make the catch and get down safely for the most part. Hey, there's our plug. Genesee County loves the game of the week on Channel 17.
So air to Kinnish, 6-yard completion, 2nd and 4 at the Cardinal 20.
4 down territory, obviously, Patrick, at this stage of the game.
They'll give to Wilson. Anthony Wilson is a load to bring down from the tailback. He's a big kid.
You've got him listed, Pat, I think at 190, and when you combine that kind of size and some strength and some quickness, he is difficult to bring down, and he picked up the first down yardage there.
Getting it just inside the 15-yard line stripe. 5-yard pickup and a first down for Kearsley.
So you see a good look of the rain. It's been a steady rain since the opening moments of this game, Pat, and right now the Hornets trying to put points on the board. And in a game with these kind of conditions, those are important opportunities.
Wilson again, the ball carrier. Takes it inside the 10, down to about the 9. So give him about 6 yards on that run.
Ian DeMent was one of the first to make a pop on him again, and he's been active in the middle there. Right now, Wilson with looks like about 6, call 5, long 5 on that pickup. So those first down opportunities where they're getting the 4 and 5 have been very, very frequent in this drive. It sets a lot up right here.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the middle of the field, so you got Wilson with his speed going to either sideline.
Air pitches out to Wilson. Anthony Wilson diving. And he's going to be, they'll say he scores. Anthony Wilson from 10 yards out puts the Kearsley Hornets on the scoreboard first with a touchdown.
We'll take a look at it again after the extra point, Pat. And it's just a matter of Wilson and his speed being able to get to that sideline quickly. He used a block on the outside. I'm not sure who made the block. We'll see if it was Kinnish or just who it was. But somebody made a nice block out there. One of the wide receivers or split ends for the Hornets. And that was key.
There you see a look at the Kearsley band celebrating the Hornet touchdown. Jack Sotheby will attempt the extra point, and he misses. 1:32 to go in the first.
Let's watch it again, Pat.
Kearsley leads Davison 6-0.
The fullback leads, and it's going to be number 8. I think that's Scott Barker out there with the real nice block for the Hornets. Scott Barker did a good job of taking the block, turning it to the outside, and Wilson just cut it back up inside of him and dove for the goal line and got there.
8 plays, 57 yards. Quick work for the Hornet offense.
Now, a minute 32 left in the opening quarter, and Kearsley has done a nice job. They had one drive snuffed out after a completion and then a fumble. A good hit by one of the Cardinal secondary people. And then the Kearsley defense stood tall, forced another punt, and they just marched straight down. They had good field position again and took advantage of it. And in this kind of a game, Pat, with wet conditions, field position is so key, and even more important, obviously, is what you do with your opportunities when you have good field position.
That's what the Hornets did on this offensive series. Anthony Wilson, 4 carries, 39 yards, and he led the Hornets to the eventual touchdown from 10 yards out. Now here's the kick, taken by Philo from his 9. Oh, and he is cracked, and the football squirts loose, but I think Davison has recovered, as it looks like number 11, Joe Tiller.
That ball got bounced around and knocked around, and I think we'll have to look at it again. I'm not sure if I wasn't watching our monitor when the play was run back, but Tiller was one of about 4 or 5 different players that had a chance to get that pinball. Let's take a look at it again.
In the right place at the right time.
Oh, well, there's the kickoff.
That's the touchdown run by Wilson.
The touchdown, rather. Yeah.
So Davison catches a break. as they recover their own fumble. 1st and 10 from their 26. It's Brendan Bell barking signals. And they give it to Huffman as he was met abruptly by a Hornet defender. That was Toby Mitchell.
Mitchell coming from his defensive end spot. And, as the cliche goes, haven't had a chance to use it in a couple of years since I've been working in the truck doing the directing. But the mail was delivered postage due by Mr. Mitchell.
Going to be a very physical ball game as we anticipated. These guys are cracking away.
You know, I don't think it's fair to say they don't like each other, but at least for a night they don't. You know, a lot of friends and cousins and stuff that are playing. And, another fumble.
Football squirts loose. Looks like the handoff was intended for Huffman. The first man through, and it never got to him. And the quarterback, Bell, luckily for the Cardinals, ran back and fell atop it.
Well, Patrick, in a wishbone offense, depending upon how that's run and the responsibility that you give to your quarterback, that's a read offense, and he'll stick it in and leave it there if he sees an opening, and if not, he'll pull it out and go and try another option down the line of scrimmage. And that time, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it certainly didn't go as they drew it up on the chalkboard. And the Cardinals with a break as they recovered their own fumble. You know, this is as we have the quarter come to an end, Pat, you got a feeling that as a Davison fan and parent and coach is probably just hoping to maybe get through this first half with as much has gone wrong just in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and maybe lick their wounds and regroup. Right now, they've had a lot of things go wrong.
Well, it's been a tough couple of weeks for the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
7-6 loss at Powers in triple overtime. Then you play Clio last week. You're up 21-0, expecting a W, and you lose by 1, 22-21. So it's really been a tough road for these kids.
It's so uncharacteristic, like for a Davison program to go through this. You know, there you see our end of quarter score, 6-0 with the Hornets on top. There are in this Flint area, you know, I know this probably is not going to make some coaches happy, but my feeling is that there are teams and there are programs. And these two schools right here have programs, and Davison's program, not just a program or a team that's used to this.
3rd and 14, Bell slinging it out, and it's picked off by Kearsley. That's 26, Ian Navarre. Ian Navarre takes it down to the 22-yard line, and the Kearsley Hornets are doing the job defensively.
Now they come up with a big play with the interception. Navarre stepping in front there. The ball was thrown out there a little bit soft. With as damp as it is, it's tough to get a good grip on it. Back to finish the thought, though, Pat. These two schools have football teams, but they have programs. A lot of schools, most schools in the area, just try to come up with a good team and build what they can every couple years. And then there are half a dozen or maybe 7 or 8 that have programs, and they are not used to going through 1 and 3 starts, and Davison is one of those schools that has a program that usually is 3 and 1.
Motion man Barker as they give it to Anthony Wilson, and Wilson takes it to the 20. Joe Tiller on the stop once again for the Cardinals defensively.
Looked that time like he had the rope out and was trying to tie both feet and one of the hands there like they do with the calf roping. He picked him up and hammered him down to the ground.
So give Anthony 2 yards, a very tough 2 yards to gain there. 2nd and 8 at the Davison 20 for Kearsley. Air pitches Wilson. It's fumbled, and Davison has recovered. That pitch was behind Anthony, and he never touched the football.
Well, not only was the pitch a little bit behind him, but number 83, Austin Philo for Davison, did a great job. He has the pitch man. You know, they've gone. We'll take a look at it again here in just a second. Let's watch it right now, in fact. A certain man will have the pitch man, and a certain man, there you see. No, we've got that touchdown for the 4th time there. Certain people have responsibilities defensively. Somebody has the pitch man, somebody has the quarterback, somebody has the fullback. And that time, the pitch man did a great job in getting up there and getting to the pitch and the pitch man before he can really do anything.
Huffman working, kicking it outside, and he's going to be brought down from behind, but He'll have it over the 35-yard line, and it's going to be very close to a Cardinal first down.
I think they're going to actually spot it right on the 35,
Okay.
Pat, as he got dragged out and pushed out of bounds right at the yard line there, the 35-yard line. Good pickup, though, on first down. Sets up a lot of things here on second down and short.
9 yards for Huffman. As Tom just alluded to, it's going to be second and short, about 1.5 yards for the first. They'll give it to Huffman again. First down, and he'll get it over the 38-yard line. And it'll be gain about 3 or 4 for Huffman. And they're just working with Huffman right now. He's the big-time runner for this club, and they've been successful on the last 2 plays.
I'm not sure if we'll be able to get it from our cameras up top here, but it looks as though the Davison splits are really tight. They're no more than a few inches apart. Let's see, yeah, they're a little wider now. Looks like they're maybe 6 to 8 inches apart between end, tackle, and guard and center. And they're going to just run the football up the middle with those kind of formations.
It's Huffman again, and not much doing on the right side of the line as the Kearsley defense was waiting for him there, and it'll be no gain.
Kearsley early in the first couple of Davison possessions really had their slant game working well on the defensive line, and that was freeing things up for the linebackers to go in and finish the ball carrier off before he could really do a whole lot. And Davison, I don't know if they've made an adjustment or if they're just getting better execution, but they've had a little more success the last couple of times they've had the ball. Now they just need to protect the ball.
Second down and 10, and they'll pitch it out. Campbell, nice run up over the 40 to about the 43. So it'll be about a 5-yard pickup for Campbell, and they'll bring up third down and call it 5.
Pat, that's one of those old plays that I remember growing up, my dad, a former coach, football coach, talking about student body left or student body right. Hearing the announcers on TV or radio talk about student body left or right. They had a lot of guys out in front of the pitch man there. And just an old-fashioned sweep, and they got 5.5, maybe 6 yards on it.
3rd and 5 for Davison from their 43. Pitch it out, Campbell again. Gets it up over the 45-yard line, maybe the 46, but he's going to be a couple yards short of the first down.
Cardinals in those situations in the first couple of series, they went to the short side of the field, and that time they went to the wide side. Got a timeout call by the Cardinals as it's 4th and 2, and I'm not sure how much they're going to think about this and going for it right here. I would guess they'll punt and try to maybe hope for a good punt, an exceptional punt that'll pin Kearsley deep in their own territory.
Well, this is the best field position Davison has had thus far, Tom, and they've been stopped 3 and out in their last couple of series. This Kearsley defense has been doing a number on them, but they've got things going offensively with a couple of runs by Huffman and Campbell. And this is a big decision. It's early, but Dick DeLage has a lot riding on this call. We'll see.
He's got a senior unit up front. I believe there's only a non-senior up front. In fact, let's check it. In fact, they're all seniors with the exception of their left tackle, Brad Horton. He's a junior, but everybody else is a senior along that front. There you see Jack Brett, one of the great coaches of all time in Michigan, just an outstanding coach. The Big Nine's been blessed through the years, especially after the old FAPC sent a lot of coaches into the Big Nine. They're going for it.
They do, as Huffman is going nowhere on 4th and 3, and the Kearsley Hornet defense stuffs him for a loss, and they'll take over as Davison turns it over on downs.
I'm not sure if we can see this again on replay or not, Pat, but early in the game when we talked about some of the challenges that Davison was having against this Kearsley defensive front, the number 7-7 and the name Jeb Laux was mentioned a couple of times. He had great penetration that time. He forced the fullback to bounce outside, and by the time he got there, there was all kinds of defensive help. And so I got to give all kinds of credit to Laux in the middle. We'll take a look at it after this play.
Here comes Wilson. Pretty nice hole for him to work with as he gets it inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. 6-yard pickup for Anthony.
Excuse me, Pat. Let's watch this again right here, and we'll see Laux with great penetration. He's right in the middle. he's going to come through. He'll blow through right there. He ends up getting double teamed, but he's the one that forced everything to go outside.
Second and 4 for Davison at the Kearsley 37. 6:55 and counting remaining in the first half of play. Kearsley leading 6-0. They'll give it to Wilson again. Lunges forward, and he's going to be very close to a first down as he gets it down to about the 33. And that's where the line of the first is. And from the looks of it, he does. Has a first down as he gets it to the 32-yard line. 5 yards for Anthony. Ben McGlashan on the stop for Davison.
Patrick, with the rain and the limit on passes certainly being exercised here, we've had a very quick pace here to this opening half. We've only got 6 left in the second quarter.
And they'll give it to the fullback. That's Toby Mitchell. Inside the 30, down to the 28. About a 4-yard pickup for Toby, and it'll bring up 2nd and 6.
You don't often see arm tackles bring guys down like that, but that was a good play by number 52, Jason Labor. He was blocked. He was on his way down. He just reached out with his left arm and tripped up Mitchell. Otherwise, Mitchell had some pretty good running room. That was a good job by Labor, who had to fight through a block or two to get an arm on him.
Ball spotted at the 28, 2nd and 6. Wilson, the carrier, and gets it inside the 25, down to about the 24-yard line. Be a couple yards short of the first down.
It's nice work being done by the tight end for the Hornets, number 22, John Blatt. He's doing some really good work on that left side. He's lined up on the left side the last couple of times, and he's going out and driving his man in front of him off the line of scrimmage a little bit. There you see number 22. He comes to the right side this time. They've run a lot to his side of the football. With the tight end side, obviously you have an extra man over there to block.
3rd and 3, ball just inside the 25-yard stripe. They'll give it to Mitchell. The fullback gets it inside the 15, down to the 14, 11 yards, and a Kearsley first down.
We talked about seniors along that front when Davison had it when they went for it on 4th down a minute ago. They have all but one front man on that offensive line as a senior. The Hornets have all seniors across the front. Sotheby, the center, Harrington and Coughlin, the 2 guards, and they just did a good job right there on that play, giving Mitchell a lot of room to run, and Mitchell with good leg drive, keeping it going. Then when he got to the open field, he picked up a few extra yards.
Good fake by the quarterback error as they all went to Wilson. That's Bernash in motion. Wilson bobbles it, and he's going to be sent back for a loss. As with the weather, the rain, Anthony lost the handle on the football but was able to maintain composure and hang on, but he loses a couple.
Hornets that time got away with one. Bernash, the motion man, coming back in motion, and then when he got between the fullback and the tailback, he angled back towards the line of scrimmage, and officials did not see that. He cannot do that. He has to run parallel to the line of scrimmage or away from. You cannot move towards the line of scrimmage.
Well, I stand corrected. Anthony gains a couple yards, so it'll be 2nd and 8 at the Cardinal 12. 4 minutes to go in the first half. Kearsley up 6-0. Pitch out Wilson, almost brought down in the backfield. Now shakes off some Cardinal defenders and gets it inside the 5, down to the 3. What a good-looking run by Anthony Wilson.
Yeah, that's a play that was very similar to the one where Davison came up with a big play in the fumble recovery earlier. Austin Philo's angle of pursuit that time, a little bit too aggressive to the ball. When you've got the pitch man, you also have outside responsibility. And that time, let's watch it again. He just came a little bit too hard of an angle down towards the pitch man. And he needed to take a little bit wider angle, because when you do that, there you see him as he cuts up underneath there. Wilson with a nice pickup there. You allow your defense to help you inside. If you let that guy get outside, you don't have a lot of help till the safety comes up.
Give it to the fullback. Believe it was Mitchell. As it was 3rd down and 1, Kearsley got a tough spot on that run by Wilson. From the looks of the replay, looked to be at the 3, but they spotted it just inside the 5-yard stripe. And it is a first down for Kearsley, or rather, no, it'll be a 4th down as he is stopped short as the Davison defense does the job. As there you see the Hornet mascot roaming the sidelines.
Now, Pat, you get over on that far sideline. It's tough to see from here, especially when you got bodies in the way. And the running back probably got bumped out of bounds and maintained his feet, and he kept going. Not sure exactly where they were landing necessarily, but he got. Now there's the Kearsley team. There you see Jack Pratt, a longtime coach in the Flint area parochial league, and he's a coach that I grew up hearing about and watching as a kid, as I was a ball boy for St. Agnes, and my father coached at St. Agnes, and Jack Pratt, just one of the greats of all time. And another guy who is making his mark in this area and has done an outstanding job at Davison is Dick DeLage. He's one of those guys that, as we talked about earlier, has a program out there. Not just a team, they have a program, and they will not start 1-3 very often. In fact, we might not see it again for another 10 or 15 years, if ever again. But this is a year they're struggling a bit.
Kearsley called the timeout. 4th and 1 for the Hornets at the Cardinal 5. Big play.
They'll go to the fullback.
Mitchell, first down. Gets it down to the 3-yard line. Fouled his blockers. And he has the first.
Again, we talked about Sotheby, the center, Coughlin and Harrington, the 2 guards. That's just tee it up right there, and whoever gets the best jump off the snap and whoever makes the best penetration wins. And that time the Hornets did. It was a battle in the trenches, as they say, and it was won by Kearsley that time.
1st and goal for Kearsley at the Davison 3.
Now watch the fake to the fullback and the pitch this side. They got a lot of running room with Wilson. Yeah, they're going to just go to the fullback.
They'll give it to Mitchell. Bounces off the Davison defense. Tries to kick it outside. And falls forward. Might have got a yard at best.
With that football on the left hash mark, there's so much room to the right for Anthony Wilson. And let's see if the Hornets utilize his speed, because they just really have got an exceptional back, one of the best in the Big Nine. Great quickness.
Gain of about a half yard, so we'll call it 2nd and goal at the 2.5.
Hornets taking a little extra time here. They're going to need to get this play off.
Clock under 2 minutes now.
There's nobody here to this side, hardly anybody.
They'll give it to Wilson. And he has a touchdown for Kearsley. A nice hole by his offensive line frees him, and he has 6 points.
We talked about his size and his strength and his quickness. He just exploded to the hole that time, and they just had too much momentum and too much strength. We'll watch it again, and Anthony Wilson's in for the 2nd time. Nice kick-out block. I'm not sure if that was Kinnish or was that Barker, number 8. Again, Barker, I think it was Barker. He's had a couple of key blocks here.
With the missed extra point on their last touchdown, they'll go for 2. Air looking to throw, has plenty of time, and it's caught. The 2-point conversion good as he completes it to Doug Kinnish. 14-0 Kearsley.
Patrick, he had a little bit of zip on that thing. Good hands by Kinnish to catch it with these damp conditions. A lot of time, good blocking. We talked about these two teams and how well they're coached and just how well they've played through the years. How many penalties have we had, Pat, here in the opening half? And I'm not trying to throw the proverbial jinx, but we have had no more than a couple of penalties in this opening half of football, and that's a testament to the coaching of these two teams and really how well these two teams execute.
Unofficially, according to my stats, the only penalty we had was the opening kickoff when it was kicked off out of bounds.
There we go. Well, not surprising when you've got a Dick DeLage coach team at Davison and a Jack Pratt coach team at Kearsley. There you see our score. 1:46 left here in the opening half. A very crisply played first half, and the Hornets right now got to feel very good about things with a 2-touchdown lead, and the field conditions worsening as we continue.
Sotheby, the squibber, bobbled by one of the up men, and he had to backtrack a bit to finally hang on to the football and fall atop it. Jason Labar was the one playing hot potato.
He did a good job with that, Pat.
Yeah, he did.
That was not an easy ball to get a hold of, obviously, with as wet as it is. And he's a linebacker, so you know he's got to have some pretty good hands out there. He's grabbing ball carriers and loose balls all the time, and fumbles and interceptions and tip passes. So he did a good job out there.
Davison will start from their 35, 1st and 10, minute 20. Bell throws, has a man, and it's caught by the tight end, or rather the wide receiver. That's Philo, and he steps out of bounds to stop the clock at the 40. So a 5-yard gain for Davison.
Nice grab by Philo along the near side. They had 2 receivers there, and they played the outside man a little soft. They played the inside man a little bit tighter, and Philo came up with the catch.
Stops the clock, 1:16 to play in the first half. 2nd and 5 for Davison from their 40-yard line.
Philo's their leading receiver, Pat, so he's the guy they're going to go to.
Bell to throw again, and they go to him again. The same play. Steps out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Very close to a first.
Excuse me, Patrick. Coming into the game, Philo had 8 catches, so add a couple to it. He's now at 137 yards. Looks like that's going to be close enough for a first down, or is it? Well, they're going to say he is. Well, let's see.
Looks to be short. Maybe a football's length. Maybe half a football.
Now, they're going to put it down where the side judge had it marked. And let's see.
They're wiping off the football as the rain still coming down.
3rd down, they'll say. So they're short by about 3 inches, 4 inches.
And Bell will keep it himself, has the first down. As he gains a couple of yards, just follows his center. And now Davison operating out of the hurry-up offense as we have 1:09 to play in the first half as the clock was stopped to move the sticks. Here comes Bell throwing, and incomplete, intended for number 40. That's Bill Gettings.
Gettings, one of the halfbacks who goes out in the slot in this double-wide, double-slot formation. There you see Gettings again. And that time he did a little bit of an out route, an angle and out, and then Philo did the angle in. And they went to Gettings and just a little bit too high.
So the incomplete pass stops the clock with 1:04 to go before halftime. 2nd down and 10 for Davison from their 47. Bell to throw, over the middle, and complete. That's 33, Joe Panchula. A nice gain, gets it inside the 30.
Pat, that was a nice gain and a good throw, but it showed great poise by Bell, the junior quarterback. He took a big shot just as he released the football. Did a good job hanging in there.
Under a minute, 23 yards on that completion. And it is intercepted by the Kearsley Hornets. That's number 6, Mark Boudreau, the defensive back. He's a junior, 5'9", 165. As it seemed the intended receiver for Davison was not even looking in the direction of the pass, and the Kearsley defender was ready and waiting, and he picked it off.
Pat, we'll watch the tale of 2 plays. Let's watch it again. We saw the cool and calm of the quarterback on the previous play, Bell, and then on this play, he lets go of the football a little bit too soon. The receiver had not turned, and I know that's a timing pattern, but you had the defender with an advantage because he's looking towards the quarterback, and the split man for Davison was running with his back to the quarterback, and that time the Hornets were able to make the play.
Kearsley takes over from their 22, and Ayer keeps it himself. Not much there as we're approaching 20 seconds and counting before the half, as Kearsley will be satisfied with this 14-0 lead. And as the players are starting to head to the sideline, I don't think we'll have one more play. Good first half for the Hornets. The clock rolls down, and that'll do it for our first half of play from C.K. Richards Field on the campus of Kearsley High School. In this Big 9 conference matchup, Kearsley leads Davison 14-0. What we'll do, folks, we'll try to compile some stats, catch our breath, and we'll be back after this timeout on Channel 17. You're watching the Game of the Week.
Madison Square Garden. And the team that plays here isn't the New York Knicks. They're the Sullivan Tigers, a high school basketball team in upstate New York. And in a way, their games are even more important than the ones in the NBA. Because in them, the players learn something about each other and ultimately about themselves. So no matter what the final score, they come out on top for having played the game. When you support the kinds of activities in your high school that help turn kids into adults, everybody wins.
You're watching Fact Channel 17, Flint Area Community Television, a public service of Comcast Cablevision Flint.
It would be nice if latex condoms were automatic. But since they're not, using them should be. Simply because a latex condom used consistently and correctly will prevent the spread of HIV.
Welcome back to Kearsley High School. We're at halftime of the Comcast Cable Game of the Week along with Tom Skinner. This is Pat Daly. Our score in this Big Nine Conference matchup, Kearsley 14, Davison nothing. And Tom, this Kearsley defense has done the job against this Davison offense. The Davison offense in the first half in their series, 3-and-out, punt, 3-and-out, punt, interception, 6 plays. They turn over on downs and then another interception.
Well, it's been all Kearsley defensively, and the rain has stopped here, or at least if it's coming down at all, it's now a light mist. The entire first half was played in a driving rain, and with the soggy conditions, the wet football, Kearsley took advantage of the opportunities more so than the Cardinals, and we'll see how it plays out in the second half and what kind of adjustments the two teams have made at halftime. But Davison, certainly a frustrating first half, and really it has mirrored their first 4 games of the 94 season. It just has not been a very Davison-like 1994 season.
Well, coming in, we talked about the Davison offense, second in the conference in scoring, and this Kearsley defense has had no trouble with the second highest rated offense in the league.
Well, I'm sure that Jack Pratt would be the first to disagree with you. His defense has probably had a difficult time with the Davison offense, but what they have done successfully, Kearsley has done successfully, is get great penetration from their people in the middle on the defensive line, and that has really taken away the fullback from the Davison offense. That has really slowed the Cardinals. And also, they've put a little bit of pressure too. They've come up and put a little bit of pressure on the corners where they've had to, but the defensive penetration in the middle of the line has been key, because what that has done, Patrick, is that it has forced the fullback and anybody that's going up the middle to bounce and bounce and bounce to the outside, and that's allowed pursuit and allowed the Davison or the Kearsley defense rather to just get to the ball carrier. And on the other side, Davison defensively has done a pretty good job of coming up and taking or putting pressure on the pitch man. But the angle of pursuit of the player, the defensive player that has the pitch man has been a little bit off the last couple of times. That has allowed the tailback Wilson, Anthony Wilson for Kearsley, to break for big yardage. And another key with that is that Kearsley has been getting good blocking from their split ends and their wide receivers and their motion men to kick things out either to the outside or seal things to the inside. And Wilson's really read those blocks well.
Well, let's go over the scoring summary now in the first half of play. Mid-first quarter, after a Davison punt, Kearsley Hornets took over from their own 43. 9 plays later, senior tailback Anthony Wilson crossed the goal line from 10 yards out, and he put the Hornets up 6-0. Point after was no good. In the second quarter, the Kearsley defense held the Cards, forcing them to turn it over on downs, and the Hornets got the ball at the Cardinal 43. Kearsley 0 went 57 yards in 11 plays, capped off by Anthony Wilson once again. This time a run from 2 yards out, and it put the Hornets up 12-0. And the 2-point conversion was added, air to Kinnish, 14-0, and that's our score as we stand.
Patrick, before we get going here, Kearsley's going to receive the kickoff, so we'll look at their offense first. But before we get going, I want to thank Mickey Hamilton, the athletic director here at Kearsley, also Dave Young, the athletic director at Davison, for their help in our bringing this game to you, and also Norm Shook and his team in the press box here. They have been gracious, as always. A lot of fun to come out here to Hornet Country. Also, the Kearsley Varsity cheerleaders have won an opportunity to cheer at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida, January 2nd, 1995, just around the corner, and they're looking for help in supporting the squad who has to raise all their own funds to get there. And they're hoping that somebody out there in the Flint area would consider sending along a donation. It's a charitable, non-profit organization, and they'll appreciate any donations. You can send them to Kearsley High School, care of the Varsity Cheerleaders Citrus Bowl Fund, Underhill Drive, Flint 48506, or call Vicki Steiner, 743-4053. We'll take a look at that offense here again in just a second.
Short kick by Davison, picked up by Mark Bernash, as doesn't get much on the return on the short kick, as the Davison Cardinals special teams were waiting for him and they brought him down.
Okay, let's look at that offense now, Patrick. Kearsley offensive line.
The Kearsley offensive line, it's Steve Temple, Scott Harrington, Jack Sotheby, Scott Coughlin, and B.J. Schloud.
Sturdy group up front, seniors all. We'll look at their backs after this particular play coming up.
1st and 10 for Kearsley from their 25-yard line.
Fumble.
They fumble the snap.
Now, Patrick, if it started to rain again here, the gods must be members of the band tonight. It did not rain for most of the halftime break. There you see our backs and ends. Air, the quarterback, Pat, he's had a nice game. Toby Mitchell, who's run well at fullback. Anthony Wilson, who's had a couple of touchdowns that you chronicled in your scoring summary. Scott Barker, who's done a nice job with his blocking. John Bellot also with good blocking from his tight end spot. And Kinnish, who's been very key with the few times they've gone to the air.
So the fumbled snap, no gain, 2nd and 10. The long pitch out to Wilson. Able to cut on the slick turf and gets a nice run, but we're going to bring it back as there's a flag. It's going to be a clip against Kearsley.
It's either going to be a clip or a hold, Patrick. We'll get a look at the Davison defense after this call by the official, but it was a real good job by number 32 for the Cardinals, Huffman, who got out there, strung it out, and there it'll be a clip. There you see Pat McKenna, he's making the call. It'll be a clip, and it'll be a point of foul infraction. So they'll point of infraction foul, rather. They'll march it off from there, so it's going to put Kearsley in a big hole. A good job by Huffman, who did an excellent bit of reading, got to the corner quickly, forced the runner back inside. In fact, forced the blocker to clip him, to keep him from making the tackle. There's our defense. Oops, there's part of our defense.
Part of our defense. They work out of the 5-3, does Davison. Greenway, Thorpe, Crane, White, and McGlashan are up front.
We'll get our linebackers in secondary after this play.
So it's a 15-yard penalty against Kearsley, and it'll make it 2nd and 25 as we replay the down from their 10. Air slinging it out. Had a man. That was Barker. He was guarded closely, and Barker had it, but couldn't hang on.
Good call by the Hornets, and really, that's a call that when you do that, you're saying so much. Let's finish our defense first of all.
The linebackers in secondary, it's Labar, Dement, and Huffman. The linebackers, Elizondo, Tiller, and Burwell, the secondary.
What it says, though, when you're throwing from that deep, the ball's on the 9 or 10-yard line, the quarterback's going into his own end zone to set up and then throw. It's just saying a lot about the confidence in your offensive line. You got a bunch of seniors in there, and although the pass was a little bit high, just a good job by the offensive line to give them the time to throw.
Air in trouble. He'll be brought down and wrapped up from behind by Mitch Huffman.
That's a cover sack that time, Patrick. The secondary for Davison, really with a numbers advantage. They had 5 guys back, and there were really only 2, maybe 3 receivers for Kearsley that got out into their pass routes. And so with that numbers advantage, it was all Davison.
Be a yard loss on the sack. It'll be 4th and 26, and Kearsley will be punting from their own end zone. It's John Venegas to kick it away as it rolls on by the return man Philo, and he almost touched that. But he made the smart play not to put a hand on it, and Kearsley, or rather Davison, will have pretty decent field position now with their first offensive series of the second half.
Take a look at the Davison offense here in just a second.
So Davison will operate from their 49, 1st and 10.
That punt by Venegas was just outstanding. The ball was on the 6. He had to punt out of his own end zone. The kick went from the line of scrimmage and went 45 yards with your goalposts hanging over your shoulder. That's not a bad punt for Venegas.
Pretty good boot. That was Huffman, ball carrier for Davison. Picks up a couple of yards. Now your offensive line for Davison. Horton, White, McCarty, Noblet, and Thomas.
That's a good offensive front, too. 1 junior there in Horton. The rest are all seniors. We'll get our backs and ends after this play.
Philo, the lone wide out to the left of Bell. And again, the ball carrier is Huffman. And Huffman picks up a couple more yards for the Davison club and gets it down to the 47-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down and call it 6 yards to go.
Number 66 for the Hornets in there making the first hit. That was Newcomb. Here's our backs and ends.
It's Brandon Bell, Mitch Huffman, Rob Campbell, Bill Gettings, Matt Greenway, and Ben McGlashan.
Big play for the Cardinals. It's still early in the 3rd quarter, but they need to convert on this 3rd down and really get a drive that gets some points here to build some confidence.
3rd and 6. Bell keeps it himself in a pretty nice gain, but he looks to be about a yard short as the Kearsley defender 33, Joe Manzardo, the sophomore linebacker. And let's take a look at the the Kearsley defense. Up front, they work out of that 5-3. It's Mitchell, Lau, Harrington, Zagari, and Ryan.
Laux has really been tough, Patrick. He's had the good penetration in some key situations. And that last play by Davison, nice little play. They step to the right, they show fullback to the right, then they come back after they got the defense going in one direction, and the quarterback, Bell, just followed his blocking up through the left, the tackle end spot on that left side.
4th and 1, Davison going. The keeper by the quarterback, Bell. And he is going to be very close. Very close.
The spot they've got, I don't know if it's going to be good enough. It's going to be real close. They'll have to measure this, I think. Or will they? Yep, they're going to measure.
They'll bring out the chain gang, and we'll have a measurement.
Yeah,
now with the stoppage in play time, we'll take a look at the rest of the Kearsley defense.
I think it's going to be short by about the length of a football, maybe a little more.
It is. The Kearsley defense prevails this time, and Davison turns it over on downs.
That's so big for the Kearsley defense. The 2nd time now they've converted on 4th down and made the big play defensively.
Bell didn't really get a good jump on that sneak. Seemed to maybe lost his footing a little bit, just wasn't able to get a hold of the turf and move forward.
Well, it is so damp out there, and the field looks like it's in pretty good condition from up here. We haven't had any chunks of turf or anything like that torn out, but as damp as it is, it's been raining for the last hour and a half. It's just tough getting your footing.
So now Kearsley takes over 1st and 10 from their 42, and Mitchell breaking away from the defense. Still on his feet. Gets it in the Davison territory down to the 35-yard line. A huge gain for the fullback and a first down.
Now, if we can watch this again on replay, this is all B.J. Schloud. He's the right tackle offensively for Kearsley. And I think he had a brush block because the play started out, it looked like guard center left side, and then he's on the right side as the right tackle. Let's watch it again. He brush blocks and then goes out and seals the linebacker. Oh, nice job by Schloud.
Wow.
Just absolutely beautiful. And then Mitchell got to the outside quickly. B.J. Schloud with an excellent block.
23 yards for Toby, I'm sorry.
That's just all 74 on that side.
Huge hole. This time the tailback Wilson. Wow, is he big load to bring down once again as he just keeps those legs pumping, moving deeper into Davison territory. We have a late flag fly in. And Tom is giving me the signal of the hold.
Now, it came from the referee. When the flag comes from the referee or the umpire in that situation, more times than not, it's going to be a hold, and that's exactly what it was. In fact, the flag came late in the play, and so the Hornets have a modest gain wiped out with the hold.
So it'll be a 10-yard penalty against Kearsley. And we'll replay first down, so it'll be first and 20. And the ball at the Cardinal 44.
This is where momentum can go back to your side if you can come up with a big play defensively.
Pitch out Wilson, trying to kick it outside, but to no avail. The Davison defense does the job, and Wilson is fortunate enough to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Labar, number 52, finished it off, but there were 3 or 4 guys in that Davison defense on the right side that just strung it up. In fact, I'm not even sure who it was who just buried himself in the hole. He defeated the block and piled it up right there in the hole, and then the rest of the defense just pursued, and nothing there. Now, it's second down and long, big play opportunity again for the defense. The Cardinals have really had a tough time tonight, and it's a time now for the defense to come up with a big play. The penalty knocked them back 10, 12 yards. Now in second and long, it's really an opportunity for the Cardinals to come up with something.
Have a timeout as Kearsley didn't look like they had enough men on the field, or they had the wrong player out there as Jack Pratt trots out, talks to his Hornet team.
And as much as I talk about it being a big play opportunity for the Cardinals defensively, Pat, it's just as big of an opportunity for Kearsley. Right now, with a 14-point lead, it's still anybody's ball game with this rain, and turnovers that can happen so quickly. But if Kearsley can come up with something here and really take the wind out of any defensive spurt that the Cardinals can come up with and go put points on the board, then the Hornets keep old man momentum on their side and really make that mountain a lot taller for the Cardinals to climb. Right now, it is very, very difficult as it is with the conditions, the weather, and everything for the Cardinals. But right now, it's a matter of who comes up with a big play. And let's see if it's the Cardinal defense or the Hornet offense. I think you'll see motion here.
Second down and 18 for Kearsley. Air to throw. Avoids the rush. Now looking, and he's hit from behind. The ball squirts loose. Davison picks it up. Big defensive play for the Cardinals.
And Huffman got in from behind. We'll watch it again. Huffman came in from the blind side, hit the quarterback, and then the Cardinals jump on the loose ball. That's just a big play for the Davison defense, and now we'll see how they react to it offensively. They got a man down. In fact, Dement, the middle linebacker who was blitzing, he is down, and that's not a good sign for the Cardinals. He is real important. It looks like an ankle, and I think he was the one that recovered the football after Huffman came in and put the hit on the quarterback.
Dement and Huffman have been the 2 major cogs, if you will, in this Davison defensive engine. And with Dement going down, that's going to hurt. Let's hope he's okay.
He's a senior, and seniors just they live for these kinds of games, especially a neighborhood rivalry like this, and as well as he's played tonight. This can be a tough loss for the Cardinals, but it's an opportunity for somebody to step in and make it happen. Take advantage of their opportunity to fill in. Again, it looks like it's an ankle, and hopefully it's just he rolled on it or turned it, and it's not going to be anything serious.
Well, with the injury timeout, there's 5:24 to go in the third quarter. Kearsley with the 14-0 lead, but Davison has the football after the fumble. There you see the BYOU, Bring Your Own Umbrella, here at CK Richards Field in Kearsley.
Did you know it was Umbrella Night, or did they forget?
Yeah, I
to
was
tell us?
told beforehand.
Oh, okay. Umbrella Night here at CK Richards Field.
Well, Davison, as we alluded to earlier, is the second highest rated offense in the Big Nine Conference points-wise, and they can score some points. They opening week, they scored 12 in a loss against Flushing. The next week, they bounced back with 47. And they lost to Powers in triple OT, scoring 6. And then last week, they scored 21. So this offense at times has been brilliant, and at other times not so brilliant as we've seen thus far. But that's because of the Kearsley defense.
Well, two things quickly. DeMen is walking off with a little bit of help, but that's good to see that he's going off under his own power.
Yes.
Secondly, the game we're seeing tonight, as far as the weather conditions, very similar to the Powers game that went 3 overtimes. In fact, it was started on a Friday night with all the electricity and lightning in the storms that moved through. It was postponed until the following day after they got maybe a half a quarter in. And the next day it rained almost the entire game. So very similar to tonight's weather challenges.
So Davison takes over, 1st and 10 from their 47. That's the fullback, Huffman, as he'll take it just inside the 50-yard line, midfield, and he'll have it at the Kearsley 49-yard line. And it'll be about a 3-yard pickup for the runner, Huffman.
Patrick, they go right to the middle. The middle linebacker middle linebacker stepped up and bit, but I think he went to an angle to the right, and the fullback was able to get out to the outside to the middle linebacker's left.
2nd down and 7. Bell pitches. Oh, and what a hit by the defender of Kearsley, number 6, Mark Boudreau. He put a big-time wallop on the runner. That was 33, Joe Panchula.
I'm not sure if we can watch this again, but this is a play where you see the big hit on the runner, but the play is made by Toby Mitchell, the defensive end. Mitchell just defeated a block, and he got to the quarterback, forced that pitch a little bit sooner than he wanted, and then the man who had the pitch back came up and just put the heater right on the pitch man. So we'll watch it after this play right here. Mitchell, number 1, really did a great job enforcing that play for the Hornets.
5-yard loss, 3rd and 12. Bell to throw, wide open is the Cardinal receiver. Breaking away, that's number 40, Bill Gettings. He'll go in for a Davison touchdown.
Well, we saved one replay to show you, so we don't have a replay of the touchdown. And Cardinal fans, I think, will be sympathetic because they'll take the score. But as good as Kearsley looked on one play, they come right back and really the Cardinals make it look too easy. Let's watch the previous play. Now, watch number 1. He'll come down and force things right there. He forces the pitch, and then the mail is delivered postage due by Mark Boudreau for Kearsley, but the Cardinals come right back.
Troy Keltz, the extra point attempt is good. 3:50 to go in the third quarter. Davison has cut that Kearsley lead in half. It's 14-7 Kearsley. Brandon Bell to Bill Gettings, 55-yard touchdown pass.
Well,
that's a pretty quick way to get back into things, huh?
We talked about it, Pat. We talked about how key that 2nd and long was. Was it going to be the defense that came up with a big play and shifted the momentum, or was it going to be the offense that maybe put another nail in the Cardinal coffin? It turned out to be the defense as Huffman came in and put the hit on the Kearsley quarterback, forced the fumble. Cardinals jump on it. DeMen, I believe, recovered it, and quickly, within just a couple of plays, the Cardinals are on the board. And so Davison now, right now, is a dangerous football team. As poorly as they've played in the first 2.5 quarters, they come up with a big play, and now they're right back in it.
3 plays, 53-yard drive for Davison. As it's kicked away from the return man, and it squirts out of bounds, and the flag flies. That's a penalty, as Toby Mitchell tried tracking it down, but to no avail. Now Kearsley has the decision to make here, Tom.
I think you take it on the 35. As wet as it is, you don't want to have anybody with a running start to take a shot at a return man, and if you're the Hornets, I think you just want to take the football in good field position at the 35. This is still so much a game of field position.
And that's what Kearsley will do. They'll take it from their 35-yard line. Will it be first down and 10?
Now, we talked about how big a series it was, especially in that second and long for Davison. They needed to turn momentum around. Now it's just as big for Kearsley. They need to put together a drive here, 2 or 3 first downs. Don't let Davison continue to put the momentum in their side of the football field.
Mitchell again. Looks like that same play he had the big gain on last time, but Mitch Huffman was ready and waiting for him, and it's a short gain for Mitchell.
Good job for Huffman. He just stepped up. 3-yard pickup for Toby Mitchell, and they'll definitely take that versus what they allowed the last time when Mitchell carried it and broke for the big yardage. But right now, Kearsley's going to go back to the fullback, set the pitch man up with the inside game, then go to the outside.
Take 3 yards anytime over 23 yards.
A lot of times teams like going to the short side of the field. They think they have a numbers advantage. Davison's rotated a man in the secondary over this way, but they go to Mitchell.
Again. Pretty nice gain. First down and more as he gets it up to the 48-yard line.
Both teams have fullbacks that are capable of dragging people along. Mitchell's not a huge guy. He only goes 5'11", 185, but low center of gravity, real strong, and he just dragged a couple of players there. Both he and Huffman for the Cardinals, you got to put 2 or 3 guys on him. One guy's not going to bring him down.
10-yard pickup for Mitchell. First and 10 for Kearsley from their 48. Again, Mitchell takes it into Cardinal territory, diving down to about the 47-yard line.
Patrick, we've talked about B.J. Schloud, and we talked about the rest of that line, Steve Temple, Harrington, Sotheby, and Coughlin. That time, Coughlin maintained his block, and right where the football is, Coughlin was about 1.5 yards, 2 yards in front of where the ball is. He was making that block and executing that block, going with the leg drive. We talk about the runners when they make contact, they keep the legs pumping. That time, good job by Coughlin, the guard, to do that.
2nd and 5. Again, they pitch to Mitchell. This time working from the tailback position. First down and more, down to the Davison 40, 7 yards.
Hornets showed pro set that time. We've seen the I formation for the most part tonight, but that time they go with the pro set, and they go with Mitchell as the running back in that little toss sweep. And Mitchell is really hot right now. He's running confidently, and they're gonna milk it as long as they can.
That's 4 straight plays for Mitchell. 25 yards the ground covered by him. And a couple of first downs for the Kearsley offense. First and 10 at the Davison 40 for Kearsley. This time Wilson inside the 35 down to about the 34, close to 6. Boy, both Wilson and Mitchell just explode out of their stance out of the offensive backfield. Very quick.
Patrick, what they've done right now with their play calling is they've mixed it up so well. They've gone to Mitchell, they've gone to Wilson, but what they've done too a little more subtly is that they have really taken the defense, the linebackers in the secondary, and really thrown question marks at them. They don't know in that backfield defensively what they're going to face. They have Wilson that time on a quick dive, no chance for any pursuit. He just went 3, 4, 5 yards right up the left guard tackle spot.
Again, it's Mitchell bouncing off a Davison defender and gains a couple more yards. Be about 2 yards short of the first down, so we'll call it 3rd down and 2 at the Davison 32.
Kearsley setting things up for a toss or the quick pitch to the tailback if they go into that I formation look again with Wilson. And I've talked about them going to the wide side in this situation when the football's on to one extreme or the other, in this case the left hash. Let's see if they let Wilson utilize his speed.
Well, Wilson's on the sideline standing next to Coach Pratt.
He'd have to be really quick to do it from there.
In form is Rob Zahar. They'll give it to Mitchell again, first down and more. Nice run inside the 25, down to the 24, about an 8-yard pickup for Mitchell and a Kearsley first down.
Now, it kind of reminds me of now this is a baseball term with big poison and little poison, Paul and Lloyd Wayner rather. Here is we got the zeros on the scoreboard ending the third quarter. You got Mitchell inside, or you've got Wilson outside, and they have really not stopped, they being the Cardinals, they've really not stopped either one of them tonight. The offensive line doing a great job for Kearsley, and through the first three quarters, that's the difference in the football game. The Kearsley offensive line has been able to control the line of scrimmage, and Davison's offensive line has not.
Well, it's been a guessing game, so to speak, for the Davison defense. Going in, you knew you had to stop Anthony Wilson, so they were really worried about him. And Jack Pratt, of course, the good coach that he is, knew that would be Davison's key defensively. And they've really operated with Toby Mitchell, the fullback, and he's done a spectacular job.
Well, Mitchell has, and I've talked about it. It's getting to be broken record time, but the offensive line has done such an outstanding job for Kearsley, and they've consistently provided opportunities along that line of scrimmage. We have not seen consistent penetration by Davison's defense as we have with Kearsley's. Number 77 for Kearsley, Jeb Laux, who has done a nice job and really just causing all kinds of havoc in the middle of the football field in big short yardage situations. When Kearsley has needed a big play defensively, he has really helped create it. And on the other side, we haven't seen a player for Davison step up in the middle and congest things as much as they would need him.
We change ends. So Kearsley working right to left on your television screen, and they give it to Wilson. And he gets it down to about the 22-yard line. Toby Mitchell, or rather that's Toby Mitchell, the ball carrier, pardon me.
Saw a little counter action that time. They had Wilson going from right to left, and they brought Mitchell back from left to right, and first time we've seen that play tonight. Kearsley's done a really good job of just mixing it up. They've shown a lot of different plays, and they're running it from a lot of different looks. We've seen a lot of the eye, and then they went to the pro set for a long time, and had a long time for several plays, and now they're back to the eye look.
3rd and 6 for Kearsley at the Davison 21. Wilson is going to be brought down by the Davison defense. That was Mitch Huffman leading the Cardinal D.
Yeah, Mitch Huffman just came up and made a big-time play. He just got up there, beat the block on the outside. In fact, there were a couple of guys. I'm not sure if he just kind of stepped between them, but Mitch Huffman just defeated the block out there and came in and made the tackle. Usually you kind of sacrifice yourself in that situation when you got a couple of blockers coming, but Huffman, he said the heck was sacrificing anything. He beat the block and made the tackle. That's just great football.
What also helped Huffman in the Cardinal defense was the slick turf out there. Wilson saw Huffman coming but couldn't stop and changed direction as he lost his footing. And now air throws and completes, I believe, to Kinnish.
Good job by the linebackers. They didn't play for any of the play action that we might have seen from air. The linebackers were right there, allowed maybe a yard and a half, 2 yards. In order for that play to work big time, the linebackers had to step up into the hole and look for the dive back, and they did not do that at all, and they stayed home. That was a good job by the linebackers.
About 3 yards on that completion. 4th down and 4 for Kearsley at the Davison 19-yard line. Big play for the Davison defense. They fake to Wilson, air throws, has a man, and incomplete, intended for Scott Barker. Barker had his man beat, but there is a flag down.
And it's coming from the umpire, and it's probably going to be a hold, and it is. Came from the umpire and right in the middle of the field, and that'll be a play that will be put in the books. Davison will decline that penalty, and the defense comes up with a big defensive stand.
Just what Dick DeLodge and his team needed, so they will take over as Kearsley turns it over on downs. Davison will have it 1st and 10 from their 19.
You know, Pat, with the change of directions with the fourth quarter, really no advantage. I don't see any one part of the field that is all that much more torn up than the other. The flag is standing straight up and down. There's no wind, just the rain, which is a consistent variable that both teams have to worry about.
So here comes Brandon Bell in the Davison offense as Huffman breaks away from the defense, tried to kick it outside, but to no avail. as the Hornets were there ready to wrap him up.
Now that time, Pat, Huffman had to bounce outside again. Guess who was in there with the great penetration, forcing him to work around the pile? Number 77, Jeb Laux. Laux right now is just a one-man wrecking crew for Kearsley up front. He's playing in the nose tackle spot, and usually he's the one of the tackles, the left or right tackle, but he's playing right over the football, and he has been outstanding tonight.
No gain for Huffman, 2nd and 10. Bell pitches out. That's to Rob Campbell. Rob Campbell with an excellent run. Wow, what a run by Campbell as he gets it up over the 30 to about the 33. Rob Campbell with just an excellent effort, shaking off tacklers and moving it upfield.
Pat, he's the second leading rusher for Dick DeLodge's ball club. Came into the game averaging just under 4 yards a carry, 3.9. He got all of that and more on that run. 34 carries coming into this game, 132 yards, and Campbell with a big run that time. They double-teamed DeLaux, left guard and center, just double-teamed, and it took both of them to get him out of there, but it opened up a good hole.
Here comes Huffman. Pretty nice run, spinning. And he loses the football. But is he down?
Second and third effort that time, and they're going to
rule him down.
They're going to say that the fumble was recovered by number 83, and that's Philo, Austin Philo. So he was in the right spot at the right time. You know, that's one of those fumbles that is a second and third effort type play. Let's take a look at it again. Huffman really doing some nice running here. There you see. Yeah, that's one where they started off to the right, then he breaks it back to the left. They seal everything on that left side, and while he's going to the right, they set it up, and then he breaks back behind all the blocking, that wall on the left side.
8 yards for Huffman. They give it to him again. Right up the middle. And he looks to be about a yard short as he picks up just a yard. Now we have a timeout on the field as the officials are going to bring out the sticks, and we're going to measure.
He had, about a yard and a half to go
Yeah.
from the scrimmage, and let's see if he's able to move it enough. Looks like he's going to be just short, maybe a couple inches.
About a half a football's length.
Yeah, this is time now for Mark McCarty, Lauren Noblet, Jeff White, Jacob Thomas, and Brad Horton at front five offensively for Davison. The Kearsley offensive line has done a good job tonight. And time now for the Davison offensive unit to come up with a big play as well.
3rd and short for Davison from their 44. And they'll give it to Huffman once again, and he looks to have it as he gets it up to the 45-yard line. A yard pickup. They only needed about a half yard, so that'll be plenty for the first, and that'll move the sticks.
Big play. Huffman that time spinning and keeping the legs going, kept them pumping, and he picked up the first down. It's so key for the fullback in this wishbone attack to be able to run for 3, 4, 5 yards. It sets everything else up, and right now it's important for Davison that they're able to continue to run the football with Huffman and then be able to turn the other backs loose.
7:05 remaining. 14-7 Kearsley. Davison has it as Campbell is the ball carrier, and he gets it back to the line of scrimmage. Nice job by the Kearsley defense, ready for him.
Now, Boudreau didn't make the tackle, but Mark Boudreau, one of the linebackers for Kearsley, he got the penetration, and he thinned the blocking tandem that was leading the way. He thinned them out, and that allowed the Kearsley secondary and linebackers to come up and make the play.
2nd down and 10 after the no gain by Campbell. 2 tight ends set out of the bone. Dick DeLodge's offense works. They'll throw incomplete, intended for the tight end. I believe that was Ben McGlashan. And it was overthrown and incomplete.
Now, in a jump ball situation, McGlashan's going to win that. They being the Cardinals, they've got 2 good targets, 2 big targets. McGlashan, number 88, and then Greenway, Matt Greenway, is a big fella too, number 84. When they're in there, McGlashan's going to go out right now. You got to hit that target. You got him out there. You got a big player. You got to hit him and complete that pass.
believe that pass was intended for Tim Jarvinen, also a tall kid. So it's 3rd down and 10. Bell to throw. It's picked off by Kearsley. Intercepted as that pass was underthrown, and the Kearsley defense was there as it was picked off by Mark Boudreau, the defensive back.
Now, when you're throwing the ball that far, it's not a long ways up the field, but let's watch it again. When you're throwing it from near the right hash mark all the way to the left side, you've really got to put some mustard on, and that one didn't have much mustard at all. And good job by the Hornets. They stepped up and made the big play.
So Kearsley will take over after the INT interception. They'll have it at the Davison 49-yard line. 5:50 and counting. Kearsley with a 14-7 lead, and it's Mitchell getting it inside the 45 down to the 44-yard line. Nice run by Toby, the fullback.
It's no mistake football time now for Kearsley. They've got to go out there and just execute. Their offensive line has done an outstanding job tonight. They've got to continue to win the game on the line of scrimmage, and Kearsley has to protect the football. No fumbles, no wild pitches. With the option game, if they do that at all, they have got to take care of the football. And Davison, conversely, has to start tackling the football.
2nd and 5, ball at the Davison 44. They'll give it to Wilson. And he looks to have the first down as he gets it inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line.
He's close, Patrick. One of the things about Wilson that we've seen tonight is that he really has played under control for the most part. He's looked for his hole. As it's developed, he has accelerated to it when it opens up. And then when he runs into traffic, he kind of does the old soft shoe, looks a little bit for another bit of daylight and goes to it. But at the same time, he's always moving upfield. A lot of guys will do that stutter step stuff. But while they're doing it, they're just doing it in place. That allows the defense to get to it.
It is a first down for Kearsley. Wilson picks up 5 yards. And with this running game that has so dominated things, they're just chewing up more clock now.
Yeah, the clock becomes the ally for Kearsley and another foe for Davison. And right now, Kearsley has done a good job tonight for the most part in protecting the football. I think their only turnover was the fumble on the completion early in the opening quarter in their second drive of the game.
The give to Wilson, met in the backfield. And guess who? I believe that's Huffman.
I think it's Dement who's back in there.
It is Dement.
Oh, that's good to see for the Cardinals. Ian Dement back in there. He's not walking without a little hitch in his giddy-up, but he's getting to the ball, and good job by Ian Dement. Not only because you don't want to see anybody go down with a serious injury, but for Davison, he calls their signals defensively, and usually you put a guy there who's a good leader and who's really someone that the players look up to. And Dement, playing hurt right now, came up with a good play.
Dement forces Wilson to lose one, 2nd and 11 at the Cardinal 40. Air to Wilson as he gets it inside the 35 to the 34. Delay handoff there.
Patrick, on the sidelines, the Kearsley coaches were jumping up and down, trying to get a timeout called. As Dement hobbles up, he made the tackle again there. But they could not get anybody's attention, so they ran the play, and they picked up about 6 on the play after having 2nd and 11. That was a good pickup by Wilson. They had the draw play on, and they had a lot of momentum in that defensive line and linebackers who were stunning, and they ran right by. They had 3 or 4 defenders just run right by Wilson, and he picked up 6 on the play. Nice run.
3rd down and 5 for Kearsley at the Davison 34. 3:10 and counting to go in this one. Air will keep it himself. Not much for the quarterback, Kevin Ayer, as the Davison defense stuffs him. A pair of Cardinals were there to knock him down. Ian Dement leading the surge.
Now, the Cardinals, I believe, are going to call timeout. We got a player down, and can't tell who it is, Patrick, as we've got both teams wearing the same color pants. Now you can see the jersey. It's a Kearsley player, and it looks like it might be the quarterback. Oh, that'd be a tough blow for the Hornets. Right now, He has done a nice job, a masterful job in running this offense.
Kevin Ayer was hit from all angles, up high and low, and he looked like might be the ankle.
Joe Venegas, who's the backup quarterback, is taking some snaps right down below us. Venegas, number 17. He doubles as the punter.
He's in the corner of your screen, bottom right. You can see him there taking some snaps.
Right by the orange cooler. As they work on air, and you got to hope, just like when Ian DeMent went down earlier, you got to hope for the best for these players. It's just a worse nightmare for anybody that's a player and who was a player to think about getting hurt, especially your senior year when it's your last opportunity to go through and live this dream of playing football. Well, they're working right now, and it looks like they're going to. Well, he's now sitting up, so that's a good sign. There you see air on your screen, and it's continuing to rain. As you can probably see it coming down there, and he's up on his feet. He's going to go off with a little bit of help, but it is a lot more encouraging than it did look at one time.
Boy, has this been a physical game.
Oh, it's been a very physical game. I used to love playing in these kinds of football games. You just go out and you hope that everything is strapped on tight, because if it's not, it's going to get knocked off. It's going to get knocked right off. Helmets and shoulder pads and you name it.
This Big 9 conference is very tough. These guys, each and every week, just come out and hit the daylights out of one another. I mean, we saw it a few weeks back in Powers and Grand Blanc, and now this week with Kearsley and Davison, these kids just go all out each and every play.
Yeah, I think that the argument can be made that most teams in the area play that way, and if they don't, if you don't individually play that way, then you're probably not going to play too long. This Flint area is just a good, hard-nosed area for football, and we're seeing just outstanding defensive football tonight.
Well, next week, looking at the Davison and Kearsley schedules, Davison will be at home hosting the Trojans of Owasso, and as for Kearsley, they've got a tough matchup on their hands. They will travel to Carman Ainsworth to take on the Cavaliers, and Dave Larkin has got a good thing going on with the Cavalier football team in his first season. Really a surprise start for them.
Well, they've played outstanding football. Dave Larkin's done a nice job and turning that program around out there at Carman Ainsworth, and it's good for the Cavalier kids to have a chance to experience that, that type of success. It's been a long time since they've won this many football games this early.
So Venegas is in it as the quarterback. It's 4th and 5. They pitch out Wilson. A lot of room to work with. And he is still on his feet, keeping it in bounds. What a smart play by the senior, letting the clock continue to roll. And that gets a well-deserved cheer from the Kearsley faithful.
Now, Venegas, the quarterback for Kearsley, just came in, did a nice job, got the ball to his tailback, and then Wilson picked up some great blocks along the outside. And then, as you talked about, the senior leadership, he stayed in bounds, broke it back into a seam that gave him three, 4, 5 more yards, and killed the clock. Or allowed the clock to continue instead of killing it by running out of bounds. And that really hurts the Cardinals right now, because the Cardinals are going to be forced to start calling timeouts, and you've only got 3 along the way.
14-yard run by Wilson, 1st and 10 at the Davison 20, 2:40 and counting to go.
Fumble.
Venegas, and that's the problem with the backup quarterback. A little cold, and that was not a clean handoff. And Kearsley very fortunate to recover.
Clock continues to run, and the Hornets right now, with everything they have going for them right now, can be wiped right out with a breakdown like that. They cannot have that type of a mistake, a mental mistake. They've got to protect the football.
2nd down and 10. Kearsley in no hurry. Obviously, with the 14-7 lead, as we're under 2 minutes now, as they have it at the Davison 19-yard line. Rain continues to come down. They'll give to Wilson. Just puts his head forward and just pumps those legs, and it takes about 3 or 4 white shirts to finally bring him down. Nice effort by Wilson.
I counted 6 white shirts standing when he finally went down. That leaves 5 on the tackle or contributing to the tackle, and it took them all. Got timeout, and it's called by the Cardinals as Kearsley now with 3rd down and about 3 on the 14-yard line. And the Davison defense really needs a big play here.
That stops the clock with 1:34 remaining. Here you see a look at the Kearsley huddle, and that's Jack Pratt. Can't miss him. He stands out among the crowd with those bright fluorescent yellow pants. The fashion plate of Genesee County, I guess.
You know, I have watched practices where Jack Pratt has gone out, and when they're doing the cals to start practice, he is a terror when it comes to the leg lifts. I mean, you've got players dropping legs all around him, and Jack Pratt keeping the legs up, apart, together, apart. Amazing, just absolutely amazing. And he's been a great leader, great example for kids for 30-plus years coaching in this area.
3rd down and 3 now after the timeout for Jack Pratt's Kearsley Hornets, and they're at the Davison 14. Flags fly as play never got off.
There was somebody in the neutral zone, either defensively lining up there or offensively moving there, and looks like it's going to be against the defense. They'll be half the no, it'll be 5 yards. So it's still they can still work 5 in.
Move it down to the 9-yard line, and a 1st down.
Oh, so big for Kearsley. Now the Hornets right now, with that just gives them so much room, so much more room to breathe. You know, they can for the most part almost take it to a knee. They got a couple of plays here, but Davison is going to have to burn another timeout here.
Good sign as Kevin Ayer comes back in at the quarterback spot, replacing Venegas, the backup. And they just hand it off.
He's still got a little hitch in his giddy up as Dement did for Davison, who went out. But that is much better than it looked with both players. They both were down for a while, but they shook it off, and both of them have come back to play.
So Wilson picks up 4 yards, and it'll be 2nd down and 6 as we're under a minute to go. Air fumbles, and he recovers. Boy, did that football squirt loose.
Timeout for Davison. They stopped the clock with 45.9 seconds on it. And that's at least their 2nd timeout of this half. They've got at most 1 timeout left.
I believe so.
So the regular quarterback comes back in, and just as the backup did, he has the bobble with the snap and the handoff. All things considered, with this rain that has been consistent, it broke for about 15 minutes at halftime as a courtesy to the band who performed out here at halftime. But beyond that, it has rained steadily for both the first and the second half. The halves of this game, and the teams for the most part have been able to hang through it. Davison has been bitten more times than Kearsley with the turnovers, and Kearsley's taken advantage of those opportunities.
Well, you would expect Davison and Kearsley to be able to handle the weather with the experienced coaches they have, the numerous seniors they have on each of their rosters, and the majority of their offensive plays being running,
Yeah, hey, there you see one of our crew members, Scott, an intern, college intern with us. Good to see you, Scott, hanging in there. Came dressed for the occasion.
Absolutely. Now we're back to action with 45.9 seconds to go. 3rd down and 11 from the 11, and Ayer takes a knee. And Davison has not used the timeout just yet. It'll be 4th down.
And I think that they'll go to the line of scrimmage. And they'll wait as long as they can before they have to start this play, and they might even take a penalty.
Which would probably be the wise thing to do.
And then just start it up again. Up, they're going to go to the knee again. Now with 9 point.
Clock still rolling. The officials blowing the whistle as we're here at Kearsley, and we got a Kearsley clock roll on that one.
Well, you know, Patrick, to be honest, the officials did not signal for the clock to stop immediately, and now they have 6.6 seconds left, and
Davison's going to have to cover 85 yards now on this play.
They're looking.
Bell just tosses, and it's complete. That was to 33. That's Joe Panchula. But Panchula only picks up about 15 yards, and that's going to be it as the clock hits zeros here at C.K. Richards Field. And Kearsley hangs on to defeat Davison in this Big 9 conference matchup. What we'll do, folks, we'll total up some numbers and hope to get a word from the winning head coach, Jack Pratt, as Tom Skinner is now heading down to the field. We'll take a break here on the Game of the Week. Channel 17, Kearsley defeats Davison 14-7. We'll pause now for this public service announcement and be back for our post-game wrap-up after this.